Well, it looks like they only got 2 seasons. Bravo TV's unscripted Real Housewives of Dubai. You know, I kind of like the show. I know it didn't get the biggest amount of attention. 2 seasons is still good. I think Nina should have gotten a second season. I mean, it might have been her choice not to come back for the second season. And when Talene came through, it did seem like season 2 was going to do something. So there's always this, like, is it actually done, or are they going to go on to a third season? Like, what's the real deal? You know, because everyone is cast member wise, they're going online and the stories are kind of like all over the place. You know, it's very elusive. No one really says what's what. Well, Caroline Brooks, she wanted to talk. And you know, in many ways, I always say Caroline Brooks is actually, she didn't necessarily get the credit for how amazing she was on the show. You know, she sometimes was reviewed by many as, you know, not necessarily a bad attitude, but I don't think people got her, is what I'm saying. Anyways, Caroline Brooks kind of made it mention that, like, you know what, it's over and it's time to move on. And here was her comment explaining everything.
Honestly, I'm not upset the show was canceled or paused, whatever term you prefer. It felt toxic, overly orchestrated, and many were hiding their true identities. Housewives should be authentic, not forced. I'm grateful for the opportunity, but not the experience.
And you know, it's funny because, like I said, I actually was one of the few people, I guess, who did like the franchise Real Housewives of Dubai. I thought they had a lot of potential. Sada was so interesting in so many ways. Again, I wish Nina came back. Caroline Stanbury, her first season, she was whatever, but the second season, I believe she kind of stepped it up. Anyways, long story short, it kind of made me want to ask a question. If you were to be able to give one of the cast members a spinoff, granted, they're not coming back at all, but if one of them had a superstar success to them, who would be worth the while for a spinoff? You know, I was doing an episode right here on the channel where I was doing which Bravo celebrity deserves, or maybe just my wishful thinking, of which Bravo celebrity should get a spinoff. And I was doing so many, I wanted to condense it down to 5. So this actually didn't make the cut, but now that we're talking about Dubai yet again, and Caroline Brooks has kind of got us all talking, I wanted to go back to a moment where I did who from that cast deserves a spinoff, and here it is. She's just that amazing. But for the last choice, I'm gonna actually choose somebody from Real Housewives of Dubai, believe it or not. And I think I'm gonna, it's so funny. Actually, this last one is gonna be a 3-parter. All 3 of these cast members deserve a spinoff. And that's not to say I'm not even bringing up Caroline Stanbury, which I do like as well. But maybe Caroline Stanbury goes off and rejoins like a, you know, Real Housewives of London or so. I don't really actually know. It just goes to show Real Housewives of Dubai cast actually was good. Okay, here's the reasons why for each. Caroline Brooks, much like Bria, I just want to see more. You know, I know Caroline Brooks is more entertaining than we even think and see, is because the show is edited in such a way you are sort of always giving that same story. But when Caroline Brooks did the BravoCon, I think 2 years ago, you can always tell the people who are just more entertaining, more lively. You don't rest assured on that edit to kind of take care of you, to make your jokes funny. There's charisma, and I think Caroline Brooks has charisma. I think the fact that she is so rough around the edges and is so, even in her mind, everything is so rough and hard, that she's like always constantly working on letting that down. I think there's something there. Do I think she could lead a show as far as a spinoff? I don't know, maybe not, but she is definitely somebody I want to continue to see. Lisa Milan. Melissa Milan could not be great because, you know, obviously she had already been on a show prior years ago. So this is like her second go at it. So of course she knows what she's doing. So I also want to say Lisa. But the spinoff, I guess I would say, if I had to choose between these 3, it would be Sada. I love Sada so much. Oh my goodness. You know, and there's so many reasons why. Okay, she's so successful, right? That's number 1. Number 2, like it's funny because when she does like her podcast or whatnot, her stuff is always so shareable. And sometimes I'll see people share it and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Do you watch her show? You know, oh, I didn't know you knew who Sarah was. And people will like share her stuff and not even know who she is. So it just goes to show she like either knows her business or she knows how to make, thing I hate to do, shareable content. I actually can't stand it, but hers is very good, so I'll give it that. But Sada is also so interesting because there's just there's just so much. Obviously, she's dated who she's dated, so you know she's all up in the mix, and I think it's also this level of somebody being, she's like so. Her ethics are intact, and she's righteous and all these things, but she's also like a little bit of a mess. And I think that's the greatest cast member to watch. You know what I mean? And I said this in season one. Season one, I was really much like, oh my God, I love Sarah. And you know, you mix that between, she is just stunningly gorgeous and beautiful and all these things, and you know, even on the series, the most recent of series, and she's like, oh yeah, I get like $40,000 to make an appearance on a podcast or something. Like, when you mix her motherhood journey, her tough to date journey, how does somebody gorgeous, good in business, but she doesn't date well? It's like she's like the perfect kind of, she's like perfection mixed with imperfection, which we like. And beyond that, when I'm talking about spinoffs, you know, it's like I said, I love Brooks, Caroline Brooks, I love Lisa Milan, but it's like you have to have that, like, what is the reason that the spinoff is coming? And so something about Sarah's business, and then all the little facets that come with it, which is the dating, which is the motherhood, you know, which is just her chaotic life, but yet she's very put together, but also so chaotic, but also very chill. Like, she's just so different, and I think she should definitely get a spinoff. Do you see any of the cast members that I mentioned worthwhile for a spinoff? Yeah, it's kind of fun to do this. It's like who makes for a good spinoff, if any, you know, if any. Sometimes it's like the recycled ideas. It's like you want something new and fresh, but either way, I thought this was pretty cool.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.